everyone. Imagine waking up on a Monday and not immediately feeling behind. Not because you've done everything, not because your inbox is empty or your money is everywhere where you want it to be and your business is perfect, but because your baseline has changed. You make a decision and it feels like a real decision, not a panic response that you're pretending is strategy. You look at your to-do list and you can actually choose where you want to start. All of these things can be your reality. That's what a regulated nervous system actually does for your business, and that's what it feels like. Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Shannon Schroeder. I am the F-Bomb coach, and I help ADHD women build sustainable systems for their business. So what does it mean to be regulated? This definition matters because a lot of people hear regulated and they think it means serene or zen or unaffected. And then they discount it as something that isn't available to them because they know that their brain doesn't work that way. Regulated isn't a personality type. It's a physiological state. It's the way your body, your nervous system is reacting. It's not an all or nothing. You can be more regulated than you currently are without becoming a different person. The goal isn't that you're trying to eliminate all reactivity. You're a human being. You're going to react to things. That's normal, and that's not going to change. The goal is to stop living in the red zone as the default operating mode. When your baseline is already a heightened state, then it makes everything harder. We want to bring that baseline state down. Cortisol literally affects how your brain accesses memory, creativity, and your executive function. When you're chronically stressed, your brain prioritizes immediate survival over long-term planning, which means the version of you making business decisions on chronic cortisol is not your full capacity self. That's threat management. That's your threat management system running the show, being the boss. And you might not even know that it's been happening because this has been your normal for so long. You've lived in survival mode for so long that you cannot picture anything else. So let's look at what changes when that isn't your normal. The stressed entrepreneur versus the regulated entrepreneur. A stressed person quotes low for their products and their services before someone asks. They discount as soon as someone hesitates the slightest bit. They avoid things until the last minute and then they panic publish things or they don't publish at all. They over-deliver out of fear. They accommodate past the point of sustainability. You're doing more than you can afford to do long term. You're reactive, impulsive, or you're completely frozen. If you are regulated, those same things change. When you look at your pricing, you're going to hold your rate. You're going to know your value and you're going to stand by it. And if someone hesitates, you're going to let that silence sit. They're not your person. When you talk about publishing a product or a blog post or a video, you build a timeline. You will publish imperfect things, and that's okay because that's how you get feedback so that then you can iterate and improve it on the next version. When you are delivering, you deliver excellent things within the scope. You're not adding extras for free just to try and hold on to people. You're going to enforce boundaries without it being dramatic. You're just going to say this is what it is. And when you have things coming in, you're going to be able to consider, decide, and then act instead of just reacting. And ultimately, you're going to be okay with some uncertainty without spiraling because you are regulated and your system is where it needs to be for that to happen. So let's do a comparison of two launches. These aren't hypothetical. This is a composite of real client experiences on both sides. So a stress launch is something that you build the entire thing in hyper-focus. Boom. Just down that rabbit hole, all in. You priced it low because what if nobody buys it at full price? At least I'm getting some money. Maybe you delay the launch 3 different times because you didn't think it was ready because you built it really fast and then you start to question things. Then you publish in a panic because, hey, I've been sitting on this and I haven't published anything, let me do that. And then you're checking those sales obsessively every hour. Did I sell? Did I sell? Did I sell? And if someone comes back with any kind of critical comment, it's going to derail you for days. And then you don't want to launch again. If you are regulated, you're going to take that launch and you're going to have a plan. You're going to take a couple of weeks. You're going to schedule it. You're going to price it based on the value and the market research that you've done. You're not just picking a number and flying with it. You're going to launch on the planned date with a complete sales page. You're going to check your sales regularly, but not obsessively. You're going to respond to feedback from the point of curiosity, not defensiveness. You're not going to beat yourself up about it. You're going to take what they say and say, okay, is this something that I need to handle? Is this something that I need to apply? And then you can go ahead and plan your next launch because you're going to feel more successful. The difference in revenue between these two launches isn't really about the offer or the audience. It's about the nervous system state of the person running it. The stressed launch left money on the table because you're pricing too low, you delay the timeline, and then you give up. The regulated launch builds in the momentum, and then you can compound that into the next one. Those are two people coming from their launches at a different baseline, and that's going to give you a different outcome. So let's be honest about the money because it matters. Obviously, that's why we're here. Stress-driven decisions are expensive. Undercharging by $200 per client twice a month, that's $4,800 every year that's walking out the door. If you avoid one launch per quarter and the potential revenue is $3,000, that's $12,000 you didn't make. One client who's the wrong fit that takes 30% of your capacity is the opportunity cost of 3 right fit clients that now you can't take on because this one's draining you. Regulation isn't just about feeling better, although that's a huge part of it, but it's the idea that if you can feel better, you're going to make better decisions, your business will be healthier, and then you're going to be able to keep more money in your pocket for your business. What changes in your creativity when you're regulated? This one resonates with a lot of ADHDers who have their notes app filled with brilliant ideas that never do anything. The creativity is always there. You know you have a gazillion ideas. A lot of times the creativity only activates under stress. That only activates under stress isn't a sustainable content strategy, right? It's not sustainable for product development. When your baseline regulates, your creativity becomes more accessible. Not just in the exciting moments, but on a regular afternoon when you have 2 hours blocked off and the work needs to happen. When you have to say, this is my time to be able to think and process and create, you can actually tap into that creativity because your nervous system is calm enough for you to be able to do what you need to do. What changes in your relationships when you're regulated? The relationship piece is something that is often underestimated until you actually experience it. When you're operating from a point of chronic stress, every interaction has a charge to it. Client communication is loaded with anxiety. You're always afraid of doing the wrong thing. Networking feels performative, like you're putting yourself out there, but not really. Peer relationships turn into comparison spirals, right? You look at everyone else, but they're doing so much better than me. Why can't I do that? Because your nervous system is a mess. That's all you can see. You're not getting any benefits from doing these things. And your relationship with yourself, with your work, with your own self-worth is colored by shame and urgency because you beat yourself up and then you feel bad about things. When your baseline shifts, when your baseline becomes more regulated, all of those relationships shift too. Not because the people that you're interacting with change, but because you are showing up differently, because you are feeling better, not just physically, but you start to feel better about yourself, about your work and what you're doing. You have more to offer. You're more present in those relationships because you're not trying to manage your nervous system because it is regulated. Regulation is something that you practice and build and return to after you lose it, because you're going to lose it sometimes. All of us get dysregulated sometimes. That's being human. And if you're neurodivergent, it might happen a little bit more often, but you have to know how to get to the place that helps you be regulated. The goal is to make regulation your default and dysregulation the exception. And a whole lot of you right now are living in a dysregulated baseline. You don't even know what regulation feels like, so we need to get you there. So the first thing is awareness. You need to catch that stress response before it starts making decisions. You want to design your life to help build in that regulation. Build your schedule, your offers, and your boundaries around your actual capacity. What are you truly able to do? Not what you want to do or what you think you should do, but what actually can you do? Recovery. You need to treat rest as an actual thing that is required as a part of your business. Not a reward for doing the things, but as a piece of your business. Support. Build a community with accountability and professional help that you can access when you need it. And then time. Your nervous system learned chronic stress over years. It's going to take time for you to become truly regulated. You're not going to unlearn all of that in a week. This slide here is your permission slip. A lot of you have spent so long in survival mode that you've stopped imagining anything different. You've normalized the grind because the grind is familiar. A regulated business isn't just a less stressful business, it's a business built on purpose from a place of genuine capacity, your genuine abilities, that has room for you to be who you are. So I want you to read this list and understand that you deserve to feel this way. That yes, this work is sometimes hard, but it shouldn't be crushing you. That you can take a day off without everything falling apart. Your business reflects your values instead of just how you survive. Your decisions, the ones you make, are the ones that you actually stand behind, that you feel good about, and that you feel like you've built something that has room for your whole life, and you can show up as who you are. So for this week, I want you to think about what you can do in your life to start getting you to the point of having a regulated baseline. What are the things that you can do, the small things, not overhaul your entire business or your whole life. That's going to be too much and that's going to keep you dysregulated. Choose one thing that makes you feel better, and incorporate that one thing into your life every single day. And once that starts working, then go and add another. And the more things that you can build, the more boundaries that you can create, the more decisions that you can stand behind, the easier everything will become because you'll be coming at it from a regulated standpoint. Thank you so much for your time. I'm hopeful this helped you. If it did, please hit like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.